Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being a part of This Needs to Be Read. I'm your host, Katherine Jones, and today, like any other day, I have a book to share, and the author is with me. Today, you're going to love this. I don't even know if you need pen and paper, because if you've been feeling like I've been feeling as a parent, everything that is said today will need to have been said, and I'm going to remember it. But take out pen and paper if you think you may not keep up with all the tips. But today's topic is about being a parent. The book is called You Are Not a Shitty Parent, How to Practice Self-Compassion and Give Yourself a Break. Dr. Carla Naumburg, I practiced off air and okay, let's try this again. Dr. Carla Naumburg is here with us today, and she's going to help us know that we're not as bad as we felt that we were, or even if someone has said that we've or made us feel bad, it's not really what's happening. I know as a parent of adult children, I'm wondering, with them being adults and going on with their lives, does that mean that they don't have time for me? They don't want me around? Like, what is the reason that there's a break, it feels? Maybe it's not a break. Maybe they're just being adults. Who knows? Welcome into the conversation, Dr. Carla Naumburg. How are you?
I'm great, and I'm delighted to be here, Katherine.
I'm happy to have you here. At first, when I picked up the book and got the opportunity to interview you, I was thinking it was going to be more like some tips to help me, be good with the kids that are in the house. But when I was flipping through the book, I'm going, oh, this is for me, my adult children who are adults, and living their lives, and I'm trying to do the same routine. We have dinner together, we meet up for holidays, whatever. But I also was their age one time, and I wonder, was I a shitty kid? So it gives me some, because I did that to my mom. I didn't hang out with her. I went to go hang out with my friends. But it's different when your kids do it to you, and I'm thinking, is it a sign? Is it saying I did something wrong? But it's really about me being good to myself and talking to myself and understanding I did the best I could, but you give us more than that. So tell us, was there a group of people like myself that made you say, I need to write this book?
Oh, I think it's my own experience and pretty much every parent I've ever met. So I have two daughters. They're 12 and 13. So, I've been in this parenting world not as long as you have, but, about 13. Actually, my daughter is going to be 14 in 4 days. And so what I've just realized is that almost every parent I know seems to be walking around thinking they are a terrible parent. And, yeah, we all have bad parenting moments, right? We all miss the mark. We say the wrong thing. We forget to pack a lunch, whatever it is. And sometimes we really scream and yell and slam doors and behave pretty poorly. But the truth is, I don't believe there's such thing as a shitty parent. I think there are parents who don't have the information, support, and resources they need in that moment to do better, but I don't think there's a shitty parent out there.
Oh, man. I might have to introduce you to at least two people I know and see if you still think that same thing. You know what? The problem is we do put labels on things. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it perfect? And if we're anything less than a perfect parent, then we're out to judge. And as a parent, judging other parents, saying that, oh, you're bad, you're not taking care of your kids properly, or whatever it is, I'm thinking in my judgmental self of them. As soon as I do that, there's not a short while later that I'm bitten by the you're not perfect too bug. So it has taught me not to point out so hard. So that's why I have a small list of like two people. But in your book,
let's talk about that list.
Okay, let's talk about it.
Those two people. Look,
yes, let's talk about it.
I grew up, I love my parents, right? But I grew up in the context of multiple divorces. There was alcoholism. There was mental illness. There were moments and behaviors that I think other people might look at them and say, oh, those were bad parents, right? I'm also a clinical social worker. I've worked in people's homes. I've worked on an inpatient psychiatric unit. I've seen a lot of situations that were bad, right? Really bad. And I think some parents might say that's a shitty parent. And what I would say, I don't care how bad it is, right?
Yeah.
If we start calling you by these labels, you are stuck, right? There's nowhere to go from there. But if we say you need a lot of support and resources and help, maybe then we can start to get these parents what they need to do better. And that's what we all want, right?
Yes, we do. And in a blended household, and I've experienced what you've experienced growing up. Alcoholism, I didn't even know it was alcoholism. My dad would get up and have a cup of coffee, and he'd hit it with some Smirnoff. Well, now I know it's probably like a shot or two of Smirnoff, and he did that every morning, a functioning supervisor working for the city. And my mom, the same thing, a CNA, and they went to work functioning alcoholics. And were there times that there were things that, I probably felt isolated on my own. I felt like I was an adult as a kid. Like there's a lot of things. And people don't appreciate you accepting, hey, this is what I got sometimes if we are stuck in those labels that you're talking about. And if we stick other people in them. I remember in my 20s, one of my friends, I was a cussing parent in my early 20s. One of my friends, she checked me. She said, don't ever do that again in front of me. And I didn't. And we didn't fall out about it, but it was like a whoa. And she didn't call me a bad person. But I just remember that, and I'm almost 50 now. And I remember her saying that to me. Now that doesn't mean she didn't go back and do something. I was like, hey, you told me not to do this, but you're doing that. We did have those moments, but that was real serious, and the point that I'm your support and we can do that a different way. But if she hadn't said that to me, who knows? I probably would have still been one of those parents, because there are parents out there like that they just talk cuss words to their kids, So having that support, feeling less crappy, understanding, I could just go through your chapters right here, because they're, the topics that you pick will be conversations within themselves without us reading the chapter. But crap happens, and then we make it worse. Chapter 1, what a way to kick the book off, because we do. I thought about when I realized my son was discovering himself. I had knocked on the door before I came in the room, and I had a whole heart attack. He was a full teenager, something that should be happening around this time, but Mom couldn't handle it. And I made it almost worse. I went downstairs like out of breath, hyperventilating. He comes down, and he's just wanting, I made it worse, right? That was one of those moments.
Nobody knows how to deal with them well, It's hard, man, for all of us.
Yes. And out of 3 sons, I only walked in on one, and I think that's what gave me a heart attack. It's like I got through 2 of them. How did this happen? But being in a circle of people who want to see you be a good parent. One of the things I thought about later on in life, my kids are grown, is that even though I had my kids and I have my immediate family, those friends around you, they're part of your extended network of people who love your children, and you help love on their children and to help support where we can. And I apologize to one of my friends, because I was like, we were very close years ago. We should have never raised our kids separate. And I just felt like it was just, I saw her struggle, and I was like, I didn't, our friendship should have never broken up to where you ended up struggling with your kids. That shouldn't have had any impact on that, because the kids didn't do anything. We grew up very close. Our kids knew of each other, but we didn't do a super good job looking out. But I guess that's me putting that shitty parent label on again, because our kids still played together. They still went over, to each of our houses. We didn't treat them differently. We treated them, I think, the same way we would have as friends, except for we would have been there together too. But I labeled that as something. So you, in this book, and we're running out of time, you talk to us about being compassionate with ourselves and not beating us up. So before we get out of here and you get onto your next interview, sharing with the rest of the world that we're not shitty parents, give us a tip on self-compassion, and then tell us where to pick up a copy of your book. Thank you for being here.
It's been a delight. And look, my tip is, just remember, you're not alone. No matter how hard parenting is, no matter how much you're suffering, no matter how much you think you're the only one having a hard time, you are not alone. And the more you can connect with those friends, those real people who are going to be compassionate to you, the more compassionate you will be able to be to yourself in return. And Katherine, this has been a great conversation. My book is available, online or at your local independent bookstore, and you can go to carlanaumburg.com or follow me on Facebook and Instagram.
Awesome. Hope that we get to talk again. Much success.
Thanks so much. Take care, Katherine.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to This Needs to Be Said. I hope you've gained something from what has been shared. Send me your comments and show ideas through the website at tntvsmedia.com. I'd love to hear from you.